Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good weekend.
Discovery, go at throttle
I
up.
am your host, DJ, of the Eric Johnson Space Administration, and it's time for a rocket launch here on 105.4 FM or something like that. What's going on, guys? How are you? Oh, man, we ready for a launch? Ready to eat lunch? I hear voices, but I see no faces. What's good? What's good? You want lunch? You'll get nothing and like it. You'll get nothing and like it.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Strawberry. What's up, man? 74-month resub. That's not Young Lung. I was given this. So.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
What's good? Is that dude? There was.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Tessa, I didn't get pictures, but there was two Austin Healey 3000s. There was a Triumph TR6. There was another Mini showed up after all the ones I showed. Dude, there was a lot of British cars there. I was like, that was pretty sweet. You guys will grab a beer too? Nice, Stone Noble, 41 months, and Mute Hand, 71 months. So, I know why you guys are here. Let's roll. Sorry for being a little bit late to this one. I did manage to get home. We're still 33 minutes out. The Axiom-2 crew is aboard the Dragon capsule right now. Crew access arm is retracted. Launch escape system is armed. They're at Section 6 of the launch. Moving into Section 7, which should be tanking operations here. So, let's roll. Human mission. I like it. 3000, my dad had one of those. They were built in Scotland. There was two of them, dude. Yellow and red. Two Austin 3000s, dude. Two of them. Yeah, really cool. I didn't get any pictures of them, though. It was a gnarly show, dude. Really, really good. All right, we're back to space. That's right. That's right. Let's flip over to the Axiom thing here. Where am I? Hey, what am I looking at? When does this happen in a movie? Now. You're looking at now. Everything that's happening now is happening now. What happened to then? You missed it. When? Just now. You're at now. When will then be now? Soon. Soon. No, seriously though. Why isn't the camera working? That's weird. I'm just kidding. It was working the whole time. I'm just kidding. I was at an event yesterday and a Mint MR2 showed up. AW11, SW20, SW30. What are we talking about here?
Go at throttle up.
Flurry Andreas, 20-month resub. Get bopped, streamer. I'm kind of struggling with some insomnia. I didn't fall asleep until 3-ish a.m. Alright. 100 bits for learn with the, hey guys. Whammon's astronauts, yeah.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Jim Crab, hey. Thanks for the sub, dude. So how's the weekend of wedding stuff been going? Just hold on a second. Just fine.
And enjoy the experience.
I've enjoyed the experience.
With you and seeing the astronauts return and looking at their data. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are now just under 30 minutes from the launch of AX-2 mission.
Who are you?
It has taken an enormous effort from an incredibly dedicated and hardworking team to get to this moment. Knowing that not everyone can be here to witness it, and even fewer get to share a message with the crew,
I got you, Panther.
we asked teams to record some words for this moment. As the countdown to launch continues, here are a few messages from those across the Axiom family.
Peggy, you are an inspiration to so many people around the world. To me, it's been so impactful to see a woman like yourself make such great strides in exploration and achieve so many different types of firsts. My family and I will be watching you launch and
Gumball
cheering you
machine.
on all the way to the ISS.
Hi, Peggy,
All good,
Kelly, and
Forge.
Delta here. We just wanted to let you know that we're cheering you on. We're so excited to watch you launch. You're an inspiration to women and girls around the world, and you've been
Wait a minute. She named her kid Delta? That's awesome.
launch, and we'll be cheering you on here on Earth.
Cal Star.
Go, Peggy.
It's good, buddy.
X2.
To Peggy, our notorious space ninja, John, aka Loki, to Ali, who is also known as Slayer, and then to Rihanna, our very own ray of sunshine. Wishing you an amazing launch today, as well as a smooth journey to the ISS at Astra AX2 crew.
Thank you, Peggy, John, Ali, and Rihanna, for inspiring the next generation of astronauts.
From our crew experience team to our X2 crew,
Okay,
we are
Forge.
so proud of everything you've accomplished, and we're excited
There's a
for your
leak on the
successful
RCS
journey
line for the
home.
Falcon.
Send
Okay.
us a postcard.
Just wanted to say that we're super excited for all the groundbreaking researches you guys are going to do. We're rooting for you, and good luck.
The marketing team has been proud to support AX2
Yep.
mission. Godspeed, AX2.
This is the Portable Life Support System team. We are very excited about the AX2 mission coming up and
Yeah,
wish you all the best.
Oh,
We're very excited for you guys. Y'all are such an inspiration, and we're rooting for you all the way through.
We wish you a safe and successful mission.
We want to congratulate
I'm
the
here.
AX2 crew. Thank you so much for all of the inspiration, and we wish you the best on your journey.
AX2 crew, we're proud of you, and good luck!
Hey, AX2. All of us in avionics wish you safe travels and lots of fun. Godspeed.
This is the Environmental Controls and Life Support Systems team at Axiom Space. We're super.
I'm about 30 seconds behind. These people are all very excited. Fast forward. Preparing to fast forward. Preparing to fast forward. Fast forwarding, sir. Fast forwarding. It's going too fast. Monka's steer. Oh, Kate's there. What up, Kate?
Special thanks to Kelly Girardi and the Space Gal, Emily Calandrelli, both big STEAM education advocates who you just saw as well. They dedicate their influence to increasing literacy and interest in science, especially for young girls, which is awesome.
Yeah. You know, Emily and Kelly are both moms to young girls, so it's safe to say that they have front row seats to knowing what is cool and inspiring. Now, speaking of front row seats, it's been feeling like we have one of our very own looking at pad 39A with these camera views that we've been getting all morning and afternoon.
Can't stop.
Now,
You
let's
gotta
take a
slow down
moment to
first.
get acquainted with the vehicles that you see there on your screen. The Falcon 9 rocket with a Dragon spacecraft on top together stand at about 215 feet,
Hello.
which is almost 30 feet taller than the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy. Falcon 9 is a reusable
Right on,
two-stage
Cowstar.
rocket,
Hell
which
yeah,
means
man.
it's kind of like two rockets
for the
in one.
sub, dude.
The
Bring
first
to that.
stage and the second stage.
Oh, I saw it, Stone.
The first stage is the bottom two-thirds of the vehicle.
Nice.
Today's booster is flying for the first time. You can think of it as the large bottom white portion and
That was
the
for you,
middle
Cal.
black portion. So that's what we mean when we say the booster. The first stage is responsible for accelerating Falcon and Dragon through the Earth's atmosphere and into
Moment of
space. In order to do that, it has 9 Merlin engines at the bottom of the stage. Prior to liftoff, the Falcon 9 first stage is
Stage 2 cryohelium load has started.
actually and currently underway, is being loaded up with nearly 1 million pounds of fuel and liquid oxygen. The Merlin engines on the first stage are optimized
There are
for sea
people up
level.
there,
They
yep.
achieve 190,000 pounds of thrust during ascent and descent. The first stage accelerates the vehicle through the Earth's
y'all
atmosphere
do.
into space and then
Big
separates from
biggies.
the rest of the
Thanks for
rocket
asking,
about
boy.
2.5 minutes into flight. From there, the first stage will head
This was
over
free,
to
Foz.
LZ-1. It will do what no other rocket,
Bees!
what no other
Bees!
orbital class rocket in the world
Bees!
can do. It'll go
Bees
right
in
there
the
to make
car!
its way back to Earth.
Ah!
Today marks
They're huge and
the
they're
first
staying
time they're
crazy.
landing Falcon 9 on land for a crew mission. Previous crew missions landed on a drone ship stationed in the Atlantic Ocean. So pretty exciting first for us today. Landing back on land has a lot of benefits. For example, it eliminates the need for our recovery team to be stationed out at sea for days, and it improves our turnaround time to get Falcon 9 ready to fly again.
Go and throttle up.
Now, above the first stage is the second stage. The second stage has a single Merlin vacuum.
Are you aware of the new landing profile? Yeah, they're going to RTLS this booster. I guess they were able to squeeze more performance out of it. So this is an RTLS crewed flight. That's the first one of its kind, guys. I don't remember anything like that happening. So you got enough rest. I'm good, Racer. I think. All right, cool. Ford, yeah, we'll see it. 3-engine landing burn. Whoa. Not the B! First time in history where RTLS on a crewed flight is a good thing. Yeah, Ian, that's right. Yeah, that would have been death with other vehicles. Just saying.
Spacecraft.
That would have been death, my
the
dude.
Space station, and the only spacecraft currently flying that is capable of returning significant amounts of cargo
Tessa, she's
to
gonna
Earth.
come in hot there.
Like the Falcon 9 rocket,
what's
the
going
Dragon
on behind
spacecraft
it,
is also reusable. This will be the second flight for this particular Dragon spacecraft. This is Dragon Freedom that the AX-2 are flying in today. It previously supported NASA's Crew 4 mission in April 2022. Now, we are awaiting our T0 coming up in just over 23 minutes from now. The ground operations teams are doing a series of system checks to make sure both Dragon and Falcon 9 are ready for
design at Block
launch.
5. Yeah,
Let's take a look at
Bill,
what the ascent portion of the mission will look like.
Dog.
Now, once we hit T0, we're going to watch Falcon 9 and Dragon lift off from historic pad 39A and
That's
make
my
their
hero,
ascent.
John Innsbrucker, right there.
Now, about 43
Seriously,
seconds into flight,
Best
Falcon 9's
commentator
engines
ever.
will throttle down to help pass through the period of maximum dynamic pressure on the rocket, what we typically refer to as max Q. It's worth noting, once we hit max Q, we'll be going supersonic, faster than the speed of sound.
Yeah, Jim, it's
Dynamic
the same
pressure,
people.
we can
This
throttle
one's a
up
little
our
bit better
Merlin
than the
engines
other one,
once
though.
again. From there, at about 2.5 minutes into
That other one with 33 engine that crapped the bed, dude. That's the new design. This is the tried and tested one. This one's all good, man.
for stage separation, where, as the name suggests, that's where
this
the
is kind
first
of
stage
a
detaches from the
hardcore mission
second
with the
stage,
RTLS,
with the
but-
first stage making its way back to Earth for landing as the second stage continues on its journey with the third event.
That event is SES-1, the second stage engine start
awesome,
number 1.
Forge.
That's where the Merlin vacuum engine lights up and propels the second stage, along with our AX-2 crew and Dragon, into orbit.
I made it, man.
As Stage 2 heads towards its targeted drop-off orbit, Stage 1 will execute 3 burns in order to make its way back to Earth. The first is the boost back burn, where 3 of the Merlin 1D engines will reignite and then shut down.
How many on this crew? We
This
got 4
helps
souls
to
on board. Jim.
head the booster back to Cape Canaveral.
So they're talking about the RTLS profile. Well, I'll run you guys through that. So this mission, it's SpaceX, right? But this is a bot mission by a company called Axiom Space. Axiom is a private. They're private astronauts. So this is only the second flight in history, because this is the AX-2 mission, where the astronauts and the mission is fully paid for with no NASA. This is not NASA. This is not government affiliated. I mean, they're using 39A, which is a government launch pad, but the rocket, the crew, it's all been paid for. It is an entirely commercial mission. Think of it like an airliner. That's what this is. I know it's kind of weird to kind of make that hop or blow up over the water. Please no, that's Starship. It's kind of weird to make that hop. Like you think how you think like of spacecraft being like commercial vehicles, but that's what this is. It's a commercial mission, man. Excuse me, one hop. Oh.
Sequence will initiate just before T plus 12 minutes
The
and finish around T
chill
plus
down.
15 minutes, which will expose Dragon's docking mechanism in advance
Stage
of
2
arrival.
RP1 load is complete.
All right, that call out there telling us that RP1 loading is now
Soccer rocket.
complete
Isn't it cool, man?
on Stage 1.
What did you think of the
now,
shorty
in advance,
M1D?
or excuse
Thanks,
me,
I hate it.
I think we heard actually Stage 2 there. Now, that docking mechanism exposure will be in advance of arrival to the International Space Station. Now, with that, let's head over to Leah at Johnson Space Center in Houston for another update on how things are going there with station preparation.
Leah?
Hey, Leah.
Hey, Kate. The space station team here in Houston is focused on the critical systems on the station, and everything continues to function as expected ahead of launch. So the teams have verified the command path from the ground up through our constellation of communication satellites to the station. Everything is nominal. We love that word, and the station will be ready to receive Dragon tomorrow should they launch tonight. Mission Control Houston is go for launch. Once the crew arrives at station, the Expedition 69 crew will be there to welcome the AX-2 crew on board. Right now, living in the station, we have 7 people. That includes NASA astronauts Frank Rubio, Woody Hoberg, and Steve Bowen, United Arab Emirates astronaut Sultan Al-Nayati, and Roscosmos cosmonauts Andrei Fedyayev, Sergei Prokopyev, and Dmitry Petelin. Flight Director Greg Whitney is on console now, leading flight controllers on the Orbit 3 team in Houston for launch, and Flight Director Marcos Flores will lead teams for docking tomorrow. A reminder that launch today will take about 16 hours to get to the station, with docking to the Node 2 Zenith or space-facing port scheduled just before 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Once Dragon is fully docked to the station, the teams here in Houston will assist the Axiom Space and Space Station astronauts with leak checks as they work to open hatches on both Dragon and inside the station's pressurized mating adapter. We expect hatch open to take place about 2 hours after docking. That's it for us here in Mission Control Houston, and I will send it back over to the team in Hawthorne. Duke?
Thanks, Leah. And all of that is set to begin in just over 18 minutes.
It is
right now. And I got to say, the energy around here is certainly rising.
Analyzer.
As Leah just mentioned,
22.
once the crew launches, they will spend the next 16 hours in Dragon, catching up to the International Space Station. That time on orbit and in Dragon will feature a variety of tasks, including some planned photography, but about half of that time is scheduled for sleep, which the crew will absolutely need because once they reach the ISS, they have quite the schedule ahead of them.
25%
They will spend 8 days on station conducting a variety of science investigations and technology demonstrations, including radiation protection research, study.
Why they still want 2 hours to open the door? You got to make sure the pressure is equalized some space. It's one of those things where you could probably do it fast, but it pays to do it slow. Like if you do it fast, you run a risk of like not seating a seal correctly and it not pressurizing correctly. Or I mean, think about it. Think about that pressure equalization. What that could do to the space station. You don't want to run the risk of doing that, dude. Just do it slow. Do it slow. Get it done right. It's gonna be up there for 6 months. Or well, not this one. This one's gonna be up there for 2 weeks. But even 2 weeks, 2 hours out of 2 weeks is not that big of a deal. So that's just one of those things where it pays to go slow. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast when you're doing on-orbit operations.
On station, just in the cupola the whole time.
Yes, exactly.
Now, as we've said before, we have an instantaneous launch window. That means that we have 1 second. We're targeting 5:37 p.m.
Fiesta.
Eastern Time, 2:37 p.m. Pacific Time. So just 16 and a half minutes from
Stage
now.
2 LOX load has begun.
That call out, they're telling us that the liquid oxygen on stage 2 is now beginning, the liquid oxygen on is beginning to be loaded onto stage 2. That will wrap up around T-2 minutes. Now, I was talking about the instantaneous launch window because we are essentially chasing the space station. We're trying to catch up to it.
What happens if for some reason they can't get a seal due to some kind of foreign object? They would probably back off and try it again, John. But you only have so many margins there. There's only so much margin there, but I'm sure there's a contingency for it, dude.
Our path to the International Space Station.
Yeah, Chloro,
and,
for sure, man.
Yeah,
right,
so we basically have that instantaneous moment to take off.
All right, and that moment is coming soon.
It's a
and
race.
as we approach
Fish
the
clouds
final
coming in
moments
fast.
of our countdown to
Damn.
launch, Axiom Space CEO Mike Suffredini wanted to take a moment to
Those
reflect on
cumulus
this,
clouds are
the second
thick,
Axiom
boy.
Space mission.
Thick!
This mission today is very meaningful for Axiom Space. It's a watershed moment because it's our opportunity to really start bringing the rest of the world to the International Space Station. We're honored that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is flying with us here today. The 2 crew members flying are fantastic. They've done a great job in training. Of course, John Schaffner's been with us for a while. He's a backup on AX-1. We're excited for him to fly. Of course, the commander is Peggy Whitson, and while she's the first woman commander for a commercial mission, that's a big deal to us. I really don't think it's a huge deal to Peggy. She's flown so many times. This is, you know, like riding a bike. But we're very excited for this crew, and we're looking forward to their mission. So, you know, we don't do this by ourselves. Axiom is a wonderful company with fantastic employees. They've done quite a bit of work to get to this point. The commander is one of our very own as well. But our thanks go out to the entire team that support us. Axiom done a fantastic job in preparing for the mission and the medical and all the work that's gone into getting the crews ready to go fly. SpaceX, with this fantastic, reliable Dragon spacecraft and Falcon launch vehicle.
And nice.
Prepped the crew and the vehicle, and it's out on the launch pad ready to go. And of course, NASA, we can't do any of this without NASA, who has worked with us along the way, allowed us to have this opportunity, and will work with us on orbit.
Vic.
And of course, the investors. The reason why we get to do what we're doing as a company and build this space station and do these missions is because the investors that are with us along the way.
Investors?
So it's the entire team that has supported us and worked with us throughout this last several months as we prepared for this mission, and we're thankful to them all.
Developers,
you're going to have a great time on orbit. We're looking forward to seeing you there on orbit. From all of us here at Axiom, we wish you good luck and Godspeed.
Jim Crab, the capsule is Dragon, the rocket is Falcon.
Just under 13 and a half minutes, and everything continues to look good for launch of Falcon 9 and Dragon. Now, currently, Falcon 9 began
we are still tracking no issues on Dragon for today's launch. We have continued weather evaluations, and for your awareness, we are monitoring an anvil cloud that is moving towards LC-39A.
Thunderstorms.
It's currently 5 miles away, and it just needs to remain outside of 3 miles for launch to continue. The weather officer is going to continue monitoring this cloud and will continue to provide updates to the launch teams. How copy?
Dragon copies, no issues on the vehicle, watching the cloud. Thinking very dry spot.
Good readback. And just a reminder that for the Falcon 9 valves, the Falcon team is going to be performing that manual evaluation of the manifold pressure until T-minus 35 seconds. And if we do not pass those checks, the Falcon team will call a hold. If the evaluation passes, there will be no call made, and we will continue with the countdown. So again, at T-minus 35 seconds following the manual evaluation, if we do not pass those checks, the Falcon team will call a hold. But if there is no call, we have passed the checks, and we will continue with countdown.
Dragon copies, manual evaluation. We'll call a hold if it's not passing the checks. Expect no call if it looks good.
Good readback.
If they call, I like that comment. Thinking drop.
If they call a hold at any time, Dreadso, shut it down. Shut it down now. Yeah, this is Hoyt down at Nakatomi. Shut it down. Shut it down now. Now it's instantaneous. Because the ISS is in a tilted orbit, guys. So if you looked at like the equator and you looked at the orbit that the ISS is in relative to the equator, it's a very tilted orbit. That's called inclined. It's in a 51.6 degree inclined orbit. So basically when it crosses the equator, it makes a 51.6 degree angle. And because the Earth's kind of spinning underneath the orbit, right? The ISS only passes over Florida every once in a while. That's why the launch window is pretty much instantaneous. Because, I mean, with the mission profile that they're doing with an RTLS and everything, there's really no margin. You have to launch right at the predetermined time. If you're 1 second off, 2 seconds off, it could mean not getting to the ISS and not having enough margin for a landing for the booster, or not having enough margin to come back down when you finish the mission. Because you're going to have enough fuel to get to the ISS, but you got to remember, you're going up there and you're coming back down too. You're going to need fuel for that as well. So the margins are very, very thin. And, you know, I know what people are going to say. Why the heck are they very, very thin? That's ridiculous. Well, one, they're trying to maximize performance out of the booster. So you only give the booster a little bit more than what it actually needs, right? If you have a gasoline engine car, right, and you need to go 100 miles, you don't fill it up with exactly 100 miles worth of fuel. Maybe 105 miles worth. 105 mile range, because, you know, What if there's not a gas station right at your destination, right? Now, in this case, there's no gas station at all.
Go and throttle up.
So it's got to go up and it's got to come back down. You got to figure in the fuel load for that, particularly the fuel load on the thrusters on the Dragon capsule. All that factors into this launch. That's why it has to be basically to the second.
SpaceX copies. And on behalf of the entire SpaceX team, we're honored to have you aboard Dragon Capsule Freedom today on its next trip to the International Space Station and the second Axiom crew mission. We wish you a great mission, good luck, Godspeed, and enjoy the ride.
Let freedom fly.
We like Peggy. Peggy's cool.
Hear the crew calling back to the ground, let freedom fly. We see them applauding.
Guys, we're inside of 10 minutes here. I'm going to run ads so people don't get ads during the launch because that would be very annoying. So I'll see you on the other side, Ray. Alleviate, yeah, keep it in my mind, man.
As John just said, at T-minus 7 minutes, we will begin to flow a little bit of the super chilled liquid oxygen through the turbo pumps, which that is basically chilling the hardware, performing an engine chill prior to the full flow. We do that in order to help minimize
They're private crew members. 2 of them are from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. One of them was on the backup crew for the AX-1 mission, and the commander of this mission is Peggy Whitson, an ex-NASA astronaut with the most EVA time for a woman, if I'm remembering correctly. She's been up there a lot. Yeah, Alleviate, I got you, man. I got you. Everything will be okay. Because I'm here, El Guapo.
And Kate, maybe this is an opportunity. You know, we always use the word abort. This might be a chance to let everybody know that there are abort callouts in flight that we're going to hear. Those are just heads up to the crew that says, should a contingency occur, there's different actions that'll happen at each various stage of the flight, when you're on first stage or when you're on second stage.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
That's right. We should actually hear Commander Peggy Whitson calling those abort modes out as they are ascending and really getting to orbit. She is tracking everything on her, both her tablet as well on her leg, as well as the crew display above her head. So she is able to identify at which mode they are entering, and those modes identify basically where and what sequence Dragon would take at that point in time during the flight.
Why are you giving me? Don't do that again.
Now we're about 10 seconds away from that engine chill for the first stage.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Jeepers creepers. 5 subbins. I called it the subbins.
Engine chill has started.
Wants to see the subbins.
All right, right on time.
Here we go.
We've opened the valves that are letting liquid oxygen and kerosene fuel down to the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. Our next major activity coming up at T-minus 6 minutes approximately. We'll hear the announcement that fuel loading is complete on the first stage. One other comment, while we were hearing the briefing to the crew at the T-minus 10 minute mark, we also heard reference to a call out that may or may not be made at T-minus 35 seconds. Many of the checkouts of the Falcon.
We got 4 souls on board. Commercial mission to the ISS. Just use
There's one today that requires an engineer to look at some data. If, for example, that system had an issue, that would be called out at T-minus 35 seconds. Right now, everything continues to look good, though, on Falcon 9.
These guys, anvil clouds all day. See these? See these? We don't need these to be right here. Dukas, what's up, man? How you feeling?
We also heard in the briefing that they are tracking an anvil cloud that at the time of the briefing was about 5 miles away from the pad.
I told you.
They are tracking it. It just needs to stay outside of 3 miles. So everything still continues to look okay on that front. The next call out that we'll hear in about 30 seconds is that Dragon has transitioned to the terminal count configuration.
What's the latest with space debris?
That's basically an indication that the Dragon spacecraft has taken over the spacecraft's countdown. And
what's an anvil cloud? Anvil clouds are a nice way of saying thunderstorms. That's the fancy weatherman's way of saying thunderstorms.
At this point in time, RP1 is now completely loaded, both on the first and second stages.
Or cities tomorrow,
Block
Tuesday.
load continues on both stages. It'll wrap up at T-minus 3 minutes for first stage and T-minus 2 minutes for second stage.
Dragon tanks are pressurizing for strongback retract.
Okay. We are fast forwarded, dudes, but if you guys want to...
Pressurization call out, we are putting pressurized gas helium onto the stage in preparation for opening up the clamp arm that's around the top of the second stage. That'll happen just at about the T-minus 4 minute mark. The clamp arm will open, and about 10 seconds after that, the strong back, the structure alongside the Falcon 9, will recline just about 2 degrees away. We've heard the call out, strong back is retracting. That starts the sequence now in the ground computer to open the arms and recline that strong back about 2 degrees away. At liftoff, hydraulics will then pull the strong back to a position about 45 degrees away from the rocket as it flies out of the launch mount.
Clamp arms retracted, T-minus 4 minutes.
See the arms opening up now around the second stage.
Strong back, his arms
We should
wide.
now be able to see that strong back retract just a couple degrees away from the launch vehicle.
Strong back will move into the 89
Upon liftoff, it will move back even further in order to clear the way for Falcon 9. Looks like we can start to see that movement now.
There we go.
This structure is what is utilized to horizontally integrate the vehicles while still in the hangar, as well as transport them horizontally to the launch pad and then raise them to their vertical launch position.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Josh, close K. Okay.
And we've got the strong back is now. You see a little bounce there as it stops.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
And right on time, stage 1 LOX load is complete.
Here we go.
We're down to just loading a liquid oxygen on the second stage. That'll wrap up just after T-minus 2 minutes, at which point we'll have the million pounds propellant on board Falcon 9 ready to fly.
Cool, Electron, right on.
We can see the vehicle continuing to vent some of that gaseous, or the liquid oxygen that has now vaporized.
Dragon is in terminal count and is on internal power.
Here we go.
We have a live view there of the SpaceX team here at headquarters in Mission Control on the left-hand side.
I think so.
As well as the Axiom team from their own Mission Control as well on the right.
Hey, all right. That's not rain, that's water from the water tower.
Dragon SpaceX for weather. Looks like the system has cleared, and we're looking like we're go for launch for weather.
Ooh. Let's go.
All right, we've heard a good news information to the crew.
Dragon copies.
Yep, see, water tower
We're letting them know that it appears the weather is going to avoid the area.
2 minutes.
That is great news indeed.
Go at throttle up.
Indeed. Right, you are, Kate.
Just waiting now for the call out. Liquid oxygen load complete on the second stage.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
That means it's topped off, Alleviate. We're good.
Dragon is in auto idle. Ground gas closeouts, expect loud venting.
T-minus 90 seconds. Ground gas closeout. It is happening. They're basically getting all the fuel out of the lines.
We're now bleeding off excess pressure in the strong back. That's what's giving that large white plume as cold gas meets the warm Florida air and condenses the moisture.
4 souls on board.
Coming up on 1 minute where the flight computers will take over the sequence. Let's listen in to the launch of Falcon 9 with Dragon and the Axiom-2 crew.
STS is armed, Falcon 9 is in startup and is now controlling.
Okay.
Dragon is in countdown.
The last gate here for launch here is at T-minus 35 seconds, waiting the manual assessment of the reaction control system.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
40. Okay, here we go. Final gate for launch is right here.
Dragon, copy. Go for launch.
T-minus 30 seconds.
We made it past the last manual gate. 30 seconds. Here we go.
T-minus 15.
10
T-minus
seconds.
10, 9.
Sound suppression
8,
water system is on.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Engine ignition.
Engines full power.
And we got a liftoff. AX-2, the second commercial mission. First commercial mission to be commanded by a woman going into space.
Together we expand what is possible in low Earth orbit. Ad Astra and Godspeed AX-2.
Yeah, I like what I said better. All right, you should be good here.
T plus 36 seconds into flight. A great view of Falcon 9 heading to space.
Power telemetry is nominal.
Stage 1 throttle
down.
Power telemetry nominal. We're into the throttle bucket. Is the first stage is throttle down power on the Merlin engines in preparation for max Q.
You can see Slick 41 right there, top of the screen, and it's gone.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
It's in the clouds.
Faster than the speed of sound as we're getting great views from the first stage camera looking back at Kennedy Space Center Complex 39A.
Stage 1 throttle up.
Max Q.
Throttle up, maximum dynamic pressure.
Out of the throttle bucket.
Stage 1 Bravo.
There's the call for 1 Bravo.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
We're at full power, and that call on 1 Bravo, that's another one of those abort modes. As we get higher and faster, the logic for Dragon, should a contingency occur, changes from stage to stage.
Impact chill is underway.
You can see the plume casting a shadow
Chill
on the
announcement
clouds.
says we're getting the turbo pump on the second stage engine cooled down in preparation for its light up coming up in just another minute from now.
And back is chilling.
Again, great views looking back, and you can see the contrail as we left 39A and the shadow of the contrail against the cloud deck around Florida. And we're coming up
pretty much everything through the abort
and a
corridor
view
to second stage
live of the crew inside Dragon. They're getting ready. We're going to get 3 events here. Main engine cutoff, stage separation, and then we're going to light the second stage engine. We've heard the throttle down in preparation for
looking up
stage
the business
separation.
end of the second stage here. The blue trajectory is the actual trajectory of the vehicle. The gray trajectories on the map screen are predicted. That's
Alpha.
Stage separation.
Okay, we got the call from Commander Peggy Whitson for 2 Alpha. The abort contingency open window for the second stage.
Ignition.
First stage now
Stage
using
1 boost back startup.
first stage using the reaction control systems to turn
All
over
right,
and
stage
boost back,
separation.
coming back
We've
to
lit
Florida.
the second stage engine. The first stage is into the boost back burn, working its way back towards Cape Canaveral.
First stage making its way.
Who's on the left
back to
side?
launch
That's the
pads.
first stage. Engines running as we come back to the launch site or the landing site. Second stage engine nozzle is visible on the right side as we're powering the Axiom-2 crew into low Earth orbit on the way to the International Space Station.
Numbers look good. So this is the first ever crew mission to have a booster come back and land on
Waiting
land.
for call out that the boost
Every
back
other
burn
Dragon
is
launch
complete.
guys has landed on a drone ship. This is the first one to come back, so we'll see what happens.
Stage 1 boost back shut down.
This landing's gonna get a little spicy here.
Right on time. First stage completed. The first of 3 burns heading back to the landing site.
Yeah,
Second
you see that, Hank?
stage
He's over there
continuing
going,
on
"Whoa."
power and on trajectory.
Acquisition signal, Bermuda.
Head northeast, the Bermuda ground station.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Bermuda is listening in to the vehicle
Copy,
now.
nominal trajectory.
And the crew hears the call out of a nominal trajectory.
Smart,
So
hey,
4 minutes
thanks,
into flight,
man.
everything continuing to go
Thanks
well.
for the
First
subs,
stage heading
dude.
back. And there's the crew on the second stage getting the ride
Hey,
into orbit to the space
23
station.
months, thanks, man. Boom, easy dodged. Got cat-like speed, reflexes. Anyway, who's the commander for this mission? Peggy Whitson, former NASA astronaut. The woman that holds the most time ever in space and the most EVA time for any woman ever. Peggy probably has a wallet that says BAMF on it, if you catch my drift, Bandit. Yeah, she's pretty cool. First stage is 127. Yep, past apogee. Okay, she's coming back
We're
down.
waiting for the next trajectory call out from the guidance officer.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Love to hear those words. A nominal trajectory for Dragon.
Copy. Nominal trajectory.
And maybe even a little bit of excitement in the crew's voice.
Yeah.
Amanda Peggy Whitson calling back
1.2
down,
G on
hearing
the
that
uphill.
call out from GNC of a nominal trajectory.
It's not going to
Left side of
39A.
the screen,
It's
you
going to
can see
land
the
back at the
first
Cape,
stage.
though.
It's now beginning to orient itself so that the engines are pointed down towards the land as we will be descending towards landing zone 1 in Cape
It's a
Canaveral.
commercial flight to the ISS.
The 4
West.
titanium grid fins have all deployed. They'll help guide
Acquisition signal, boss.
They'll guide the first stage through the once we get into the atmosphere, following
What was
the
that, an AOS?
entry burn, which will be coming up here in another couple of minutes. On the right-hand side, the second stage with the Dragon capsule on top, heading up the eastern seaboard of the U.S. We've just heard the call out.
It said Boston.
Of Boston. That's the New Hampshire tracking station.
Yes!
Has picked up the signal.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory
We
nominal.
see you!
Let's see, continuing to make those call outs that we want
I
to
should
hear.
go check.
Everything
I should go check to
seems
see
look
it.
good.
I should go. Your cousin
And the
from
crew echoing
Boston.
them right back down. Good comms with the crew. We've been able to bring some live video shots from inside the capsule as they're headed to space. And there's another view of the crew.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there we heard that the startup burn for that stage 1 booster, you can see it there on the left-hand side of your screen, has now begun.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And conclusion of that entry burn, that burn helps to slow the vehicle down as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. The first stage sees high drag, which scrubs roughly 70% of the velocity by the time that
Dragon,
landing.
SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Love to hear that call out. Everything.
Nominal trajectory.
Beautiful view of planet Earth coming to us from the second stage views on the right-hand side. Left-hand side, our first view of the Space Coast once again. This booster is attempting a landing at LZ-1.
Stage 1 transonic.
That booster is now traveling near the speed of sound. Live view coming to you from one of our tracking cameras. We can see the grid fins actuating to help steer the booster down.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
Standing by to...
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Did it do it? Yeah, all right.
You can see that
Dude,
stage
that's awesome.
has landed back at LZ-1. This is the first time that we have performed a land landing on a crew mission.
I couldn't see it, dude. I'll watch it back, dude. I'll watch it back. Okay, she's still going.
Coming
I
up
want to
next
see. I want to
will
see. I'll be right back. I'll be right
second engine
back.
Cut off or SECO, and that's where after that engine cuts off, second stage will coast for a few minutes until Dragon is commanded to separate.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
We're expecting SECO to occur in about 20 seconds.
Shannon.
Copy, Shannon.
Commander Peggy Whitson continuing to call out the abort modes.
Pico.
All right, on-time shutdown of that second engine.
It's too sunny, dudes.
Also confirming that the launch escape system is now disarmed.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
All right, and there's that call out.
Maybe
we can confirm good
maybe now it's
orbital
on the track. I'm
insertion.
going to check one more time, dudes. I'm going to check one more time. Good orbit.
Dragon, SpaceX, launch escape system disarmed.
We can see the crew playing with their harnesses now that they are in zero G, which I think we just got a view of our zero G Stuffy. Clearly the crew is having fun already. Right after liftoff, I think we heard a laugh coming from Commander Peggy Whitson, which, being a NASA legend and one of the most decorated astronauts of all time, it's amazing to hear that even a space veteran as she
Detected loss of signal, Cape.
still has fun at liftoff. The next event that we have coming up at just around T plus 12 minutes is Dragon separation. That's where the Dragon spacecraft and trunk, so collectively referred to as the Dragon spacecraft, will separate from the second stage.
Acquisition signal, New Finland.
After that separation, we will begin to deploy the nose cone, which exposes the forward bulkhead thrusters as well as the forward hatch.
All right.
That forward hatch is what the capsule utilizes to autonomously dock to the International Space Station.
I think so, Bandit, yeah.
Going from left to right, everyone's having fun, clearly. We have mission specialist Rayana Barnawi. To the right of her is pilot John Schaffner. Then we have Commander Peggy Whitson. And on the far right, mission specialist Ali Al-Karni. We can see that the excess strap on some of the harnesses, as well as the writing utensil for their tablets, they continue to play around with as they are experiencing zero-G for the first time. At least we can say that for 3 of the 4 astronauts on board today.
Love you.
Now we are standing by for Dragon separation, which is expected to occur in the next few seconds.
Oh, it's so cool! Come on! Dragon deployed confirmed.
Wow.
There she goes!
Live on your screen, that Dragon trunk capsule. That's a really cool view. That's actually
SpaceX Launch Director. Very great flight. Wish you safe travels. And a few words from our chief engineer as well.
Thanks for putting your trust in the Falcon 9 team. Hope you enjoyed the ride to space. Have a great trip on Dragon. Welcome home to zero-G, Peggy.
All right. No, the stage will deorbit
SpaceX Chief Engineer Bill
Good to be here. It was a phenomenal ride.
That was Gerst, man. Oh, there's the RCS. Look. Yeah, that's sick.
Make sure you share the joy of zero-G with your crew.
We will do that.
Well, now they squeeze more performance out of it, John. Yep, there's the reaction control systems.
Already you can see Dragon's Draco thrusters activating.
Battery fitty, Rhino. Oh, sick, dude.
Dragon SpaceX, nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts. Nose cone deploy is in progress. Hooks are opening.
Dragon copies.
All right, great news there to let us know that the hooks, there are 2 sets of hooks.
Signal, Bermuda.
2 sets of hooks that are now disengaging. And once that is complete, we are able to deploy, open the nose cone.
So you can see their orbital parameters there. That's mission elapsed time.
You can see that nose cone deploy
orbital velocity
in about
right next
a minute. It's a great view on the right-hand side of your screen from the Falcon 9 second stage, looking at
that's a nice
the
pen.
Dragon Freedom capsule. And of course, the crew on the left-hand side playfully acclimating to their new zero-G environment.
Nice pen.
You can see the zero-G indicator in the background. And I love this view. This view is over the shoulders of Commander Peggy Whitson, who here is on the left-hand side, the left seat, and pilot John Schaffner is on the right seat here, looking at what they're looking at. These are the crew display panels that they use.
All right, so check this out. Orbital speed is right there, current altitude. apogee, perigee, inclination. That's cool, man. Do you keep the pen in case just in case it floats away? Yeah, I do. Let the pen fly? Sure.
All right, as we can see, crew getting acclimated. The nose cone hooks are in the process of being disengaged, so they are starting to open. And once those that is complete, we are able to open the nose cone and expose the forward hatch.
So incredible. Well, today's launch is certainly one more for the history books.
Fog,
and yet the story is just getting underway. Leah, with the crew officially on their way to the International Space Station, how are things tracking there in mission control at Johnson Space Center?
Are you a wizard?
Hey Duke, well, the chase has officially begun with Dragon heading toward the International Space Station. So with successful launch of Axiom Mission 2 at 37 p.m. Eastern, the teams here at NASA's Johnson Space Center are going to be monitoring Dragon's flight to the International Space Station over the next 16 hours.
Okay, landing time.
Our role in this journey really...
Landing
able to
replay.
bring some...
On the left-hand side of your screen.
Oh, the supersonic retro propulsion! My favorite.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
All right, let's see what we got here.
And conclusion of that entry burn, that burn helps to slow the vehicle down as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. The first stage sees high drag, which scrubs roughly 70% of the velocity by the time they're at landing.
I must have missed that.
Nominal.
Oh, dear.
Love to hear that call out. Everything
Nominal trajectory.
Beautiful view of planet Earth coming to us from the second stage views on the right-hand side.
That's spicy.
Left-hand side, our first view of the Space Coast once again. This booster is attempting a landing at LZ1.
Stage 1 transonic.
That's coming in
The
hot.
booster is now traveling near the speed of sound.
That's sick.
Live view coming to you from one of our tracking cameras.
Yo, this is hairy. Oh my
we can
goodness.
see the grid fins actuating to help steer the booster down.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
Standing by to...
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Bruh.
There you
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Bruh.
You can see that first stage has landed back at LZ1. This is the first time that we have performed a land landing on a crew mission.
That was nuts. That was nuts, man. Dude, hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on a second here. Oh, wait a minute.
Discovery, go at throttle.
Yeah, Ian is. It's pretty good. Yeah, watch this number go down here. Aerodynamics. Oh, how did it not explode? Dude, that's crazy. Okay. Still supersonic. Actually, no, you're subsonic. Oh my God. That's nuts, dude. Dude, 3 engines rolling. You see that? Oh my goodness. Get used to that. We're going to see that on every crew launch. Oh God, I love the space program so much. That's crazy. Goalie, that's insane, man. I know, Hank. You see it? Don, man, I knew about it, but that's cool. Yeah, it's awesome. Wow. What floated by the stage in about 6 minutes? Solid nitrogen, caveman. No, Tony, that booster seems to be okay. Space Wasp was unimpressed. Yeah, Tessa, that's some pretty insane deceleration, huh? Wow! Oh, man, am I glad I got home in time for that. Jeez. Why does RTLS make it fall faster? Well, emulated on a ballistic trajectory, it's kind of coming in this way. right, relative to the drone ship, and then it kind of does this. Coming down from that RTLS, it's coming down way more straight down, dude. So that's why I told you before the thing even launched. I said that this trajectory is gonna get a little nuts. The booster's gonna come in a little spicy. It's gonna be a little spicy, than more spicy than what we're used to. And damn, dude, that was awesome. Oh man, that's got to be worse than a carrier landing. I wouldn't be riding on that. You'd be jello. They'd be picking you up with a sponge. They do, John. Yeah, the grid fins are one of the most expensive parts, dude. It's one-piece cast titanium. And the grid fin's, like, not small either. We're, like, 1.5 meters by 1 meter, dude. So this thing is, like, 3 feet by 5 feet. It's like the size of a coffee table. One-piece cast titanium. Nose cone is open on Dragon Freedom.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
You eat jello with a sponge? Yeah, I do. You don't? Hey, Bill, 36 months, dude. That decelerated like I do when I hit rush hour traffic on I-4. Oh, too real, man. Isn't the drone landing more efficient? Why land? Well, everything's more efficient if you can get the thing back to where it launched from. Hey, Rocket, thanks for the raid, buddy. Billy, 36-month resub. To the I-40 comment. That's awesome. Oh, my goodness. All right. All right, dudes. How about that, huh? That was pretty good. Can you show the landing again? I thought you'd never ask. Watch this, dude. The XSM, watch the deceleration, dude. This thing's coming in a little hot, man. Whoa. Oh, man. I know, Thomas, right? It's crazy. It's a contractual thing, John. I don't think we'll ever know. Yeah, wild. Isn't it crazy, man? Look at this thing. Dude, she coming in hot. Oh, that shot. I really wish whatever that is didn't get in the way. Right, Ovi? That's a good point. Look at this thing. You gotta be kidding me. Bruh. That's so freaking cool, man. Phase burn in 21 minutes. Right on. That was super smooth, dude. Super smooth. Awesome. 800 to 200 in 3 seconds. Okay. Okay. Just, alright. Knucking futz. Indeed. Indeed, man. Humans. Why can't they usually do RTS on Dragon launches, and what changed it to allow it this time? They found more performance in the booster, man. I know, Bang. It's a pretty awesome, pretty cool piece of kit, isn't it? Rush would be like, bruh. Oh man, that's pretty cool. You know that's you know it's like, you know, people are always like, oh man, I wish I was you know, alive in the 70s. I wish I was alive in the 80s. I wish I was alive in this time period. No. I'll take this. I'll take that. That's fine. Yeah, you can have that. You can have that, dude. And I like 80s stuff just as much as the next person, right? This, though, it's like that meme, you know, this is brilliant, but I like this. This is really amazing, man. Really cool. John's like, I was alive in all of this. Well, you get the best of both worlds. All right, best of one world. Separate ways, worlds apart. Yeah. They're pumped. Here we stand, worlds apart, hearts broken in two. That's not a journey you want to embark on. Yeah. Yeah, CalStar, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty freaking cool. Seen this through all the Apollos. Yeah, landing this stuff is pretty damn cool, man. Just wait till these guys get a shot at the moon. It's gonna be pretty sweet, dude. SpaceX leases 39A. Yep, they leased 39A on a 15-year lease in 2014. So, actually, wow, we're almost 2/3 of the way through that. No, that can't be right. They leased it yesterday. Right? 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 All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the launch. I cover pretty much every launch here that we can. I've been missing, though, lately. I've been falling behind. But we're going to fix that this week. Let's see what we have for launches next. They did, Justin, which tells me that SpaceX is going to build landing pads somewhere else. You know, some people ask, is such a thing even possible? Yes, it is. Memes. No problem, Frank. I got you. So, what do we have up on the docket for this week? On Tuesday, we have Arabsat 7. All right, cool. Should get a nice long stream on Tuesday. Soyuz KSLV-2, which is the second. This is the Korean space program, I think. Yeah, that's the South Korean space program. So best Korean space program. Am I right or am I right? Then we have Progress MS-23, which is an ISS resupply mission. And then we have Tropics Flight 3, coming to a storm near you. And then, hey. Really? Oh, yeah, I got stuff to do, man. And then on Friday, today is not Friday in California. No. And then we have Soyuz 21B Fregata M Condor FKAN1. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff up on the docket here. Good, nice, healthy, and diverse ecosphere of rockets. Remember when you would cover 1 to 2 launches a month? Yeah, that was like last week or something, right? Right? And it probably ain't going to stream it anyway, John. Who cares? You know, it gave me the not safe for work thing there for that link. It's like, oh, this may contain graphic and elusive content. Or illicit content. That's it's pretty nice. Nice. That's awesome, dude. Look at 3 engines, full blast, baby. It's cool, man. All right, dudes. But anyway, I got some other stuff to do to finish off my weekend. I hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend, and if it's Monday for you, well, that sucks. I'm sorry. Did you get the truck moving? The truck does move, but I got to do a little bit more work on it. The universal joint decided to not. Universal joint or something. So, yeah, we're going to get that all rolling here. We should do the work for the U joint probably this week. Something like that. Anyway. Hey man, it's not safe for work to look up the skirt like that. Hey, we weren't looking up the skirt. She had the boots on, the thermal protection system with the cork. Gotta have those titanium grid fins, cork protection system with just Alright, what's up, goalie? What is this? Last thing. Dude. You have issues? Yeah, but you're still here. This might get loud. Headphone users. Headphone users. Headphone users. Seriously, this might get loud. Yes!
That's cool.
That was awesome. Man, look at that thing. All right, guys. Hey, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stream should start up at noontime. Thank you very much for watching. And
Oh, I thought we were gonna truck.
yeah, we can do that a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much for watching. We might be back. I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little bit tired. It's been a little crazy this week. It's been a little crazy this week. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're back into the space stuff, and should be good from there. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good rest of your weekend, or not. I'll see you. Thank you.